So there's this thing that business owners do when we get stuck. Specifically, when we get stuck, we tend to work on our strategies, and that's sound. That makes common sense. That's just makes a lot of sense, right? It's pure logic to work on those things that will get you the results. What happens when your strategy doesn't work, though? And this is where people repeatedly bash their head against a wall with new strategies, new strategies, new strategies. There is a saying that the thinking that helped you discover the problem is not the same thinking that will help you to solve the problem. And some variation of that, right? What I'm trying to say is that you need to shift the way you think. Yet only 20% of people will shift their mindset, will shift the way they're thinking. Because the thinking with which you're observing the problem is not the thinking you need to help you get the solution. Makes sense, right? Okay. So 20% of people work on their mindset. And that's pretty solid when you look at the 80-20 principle, right? The 80-20 principle. 20% of people will work on their mindset. What happens, however, when you outgrow your mindset or your mindset can't shift or you're blocked? What happens if your current mindset no longer serves you? Then what do? Well, this is where I've been speaking about. Let's use the 80-20 principle again. And 20% of those people will start doing something different. Now, let's just talk mathematics here. Let's say you've got 100 people. We use the 80-20 principle, right? 80% of people will stick to working on their strategy and bash their heads against the wall repeatedly. 20% of people will go and work on their mindset. Of those 20% of people, those who realize they've outgrown their mindset, let's do the 80-20 again, right? 20% of 20 is 4. 80% of 20 is 16, okay? So 4% of people will do something different. They go working with their energies, okay? And this is where people think this is total woo-woo. It's total woo-woo. A shout out to Stella Tonic on Instagram who inspired me to talk about this a little bit more. This is really, really interesting, right? So if your mindset fails or you outgrow your mindset, only 20% of those people will work on energetics, their energy. That's 4 people. 4 people out of 100 will go to the top, the energy source. And we're thinking here that, hey, I'm talking about energy. This is all woo-woo. Okay, hold my chai for a moment, right? I'm going to talk to you about something here. Albert Einstein said energy is everything. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy. Marie Curie said, the invisible forces of nature are revealed through energy. Max Planck, every form of matter is energy. These great scientists who have shifted the way science works have all been speaking in terms of energy. So this isn't woo-woo. This is real. This is like solid stuff, right? When you can shift the energy around that, you can expand your mindset because new energies will unblock, will move, will start flowing, okay? And that flowing nature tends to widen your mindset. And that allows you access to new ways of thinking. And when you can shift to new ways of thinking, guess what? You're opening for yourself a whole variety and range of strategies that you can work on. So this is the whole point of what I'm trying to say. We need to normalize bringing energy and spirituality into business because spirituality is all about using that energy, shifting the energy, moving that energy. All right. We're all keen on working hard and hustling hard. I don't believe in hustle, by the way. Death to hustle, down with hustle, right? I'm all about focus and hard work. I'm all about flow, right? And for flow to work, you need to make sure that you engage in focus. So this is where your mindset works. Come in. But there is that next level. And this is where I want to talk about the energy, right? So if the great scientists can talk about energy, if great quantum physicists can talk to you about making changes in terms of energy, then why the heck aren't we doing it, right? Why are only 4% of the world out there, 4% of business owners tapping into shifting their energy. And this is a conversation that needs to be had. I think this is really, really important. This isn't about woo woo. This is about the next level. This is about the next level. And there's so much and so much I want to talk to you about and tell you about and go down this, right? But this is just a quick taster about it. This is just a quick introduction. I'm going to start releasing a set of YouTube videos very soon talking about, business performance mixed with science, mixed with spirituality. All right. This is my three S's: sales, science, and spirituality. I'm going to start bringing this in. And I want to share with you my insights that I've got. Coming back from India, I realized just how much I was centered, how peaceful I was, and how my energy was pure and clean and flowing. Coming back to Australia, I wanted to recreate that. And so I started doing more around that. I'm starting to shift my knowledge from doing one-on-one stuff into training as well. The energy is different when it comes to training. But here's the thing. This stuff is not about the woo-woo. You can attach the woo-woo to it if you want. I don't do woo-woo, right? This stuff is real. This stuff is important. And it's time we normalize this stuff. So I'm going to start bringing more and more information to you on this. If you're keen, I suggest that you like, subscribe, share, do all those things here on the YouTube. I would love to keep sharing some more daily wisdom and insights with you as we go through the rest of this year and maybe even beyond, right? Stay tuned. Watch out for it. Remember, if the great scientists Einstein, Planck, Marie Curie, Nikola Tesla can all talk about energy, this is real stuff, right? This isn't the domain of fantasy or wizardry or anything like that. Let's tap into this stuff. Let's make it more accessible to you. And I'm going to share with you more information very soon. Bye for now.